himmlischer Vater, wir wollen dir danken für diese Abendandacht.
Please help us that we can receive that what you want to give us.
Und bitte hilft uns, dass wir das erhalten können, was du uns geben möchtest.
Help us to awake through that.
Und hilft uns, wachsam zu sein währenddessen.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesu Namen. Amen.
Amen. Right, so let us go to Matthew 24.
So lasst uns in unseren Bibeln zu Matthäus 24 aufschlagen.
And let us reach verse 3.
Matthäus 24, Vers 3.
It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So,
Bis Vers 8.
it's been a while since we were last time in Matthew 24.
Es ist eine Weile her, seit das letztes Mal wir in Matthäus 24 waren.
But we studied this chapter many times, right?
Aber wir haben diesen Kapitel öfters studiert.
Okay, so where's Jesus speaking about?
So, worüber spricht Jesus?
Yes, the Sunday law crisis,
Das
right?
Sonntagsgesetzkrise.
So it's here the beginning of sorrows or birth pains.
Das ist der Anfang von Wehen.
And it's the shaking of the
Und das ist die Erschütterung,
earth, right?
Erschütterung der Erde.
And we understand that this year is this year.
Und wir verstehen, dass diese Fraktal hier ist diese gesamte Linie hier.
Okay, so the shaking of the earth goes until where?
So, der Erschütterung der Erde geht bis wann?
Yes, until midnight, right?
Bis Mitternacht.
Because she compares the shaking of the earth with 1848, yes.
Und sie vergleicht der Erschütterung der Erde mit 1848,
But also with in First Testimonies 268,
aber auch mit erste Band der Zeugnisse 268.
with the First World War, right?
Sie vergleicht es auch mit der Erste Weltkrieg.
Okay, so you have the First World War, and then she says there was a seeming time of peace, right?
Also das ist der Erste Weltkrieg und dann gibt es eine scheinbare Zeit des Friedens.
So the First World War,
Erste Weltkrieg.
and then the little time of peace, and then she
Kleine
speaks
Zeit des
about,
Friedens.
she quotes basically the shaking of the heavens and the earth, and she says it's the Second World War, right?
Und dann zitiert sie der Erschütterung der Himmel und Erde und vergleicht es dann mit dem Zweiten Weltkrieg.
Right. So in between you have the seeming time of peace.
Und dazwischen die beiden Weltkriege diese scheinbare Zeit des Friedens.
Okay, so now let's go to 15, verse 15.
So jetzt weiter in Matthäus 24, Vers 15.
And it says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So, how was this fulfilled?
So wie war das hier erfüllt? Oder wie ist das hier erfüllt worden?
Historically. Yes, okay. So Cestius, when he surrounded Jerusalem, right?
Also wenn Cestius Jerusalem umlagert.
But we also understand it's also 538 in some sense that it's the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel.
Aber wir verstehen auch, in gewissem Maßen ist es 538, diese Groll der Verwüstung von Daniel gesprochen.
So both events, 538 and Cestius, point to which event here at the end of the world?
So beide Ereignisse 538 und Cestius weisen auf welche Ereignis am Ende der Welt?
Also the Sunday law, right?
Auch das Sonntagsgesetz.
So here you have 538,
So hier ist der 538,
but also Cestius, right?
aber es ist auch Cestius.
So we understand now that Cestius is coming here and he's basically besieging Jerusalem, right?
Wir verstehen, dass Cestius kommt hier an und umlagert Jerusalem.
Okay, just let's compare this with Luke 21.
Also lasst uns das hier mit Lukas 21 vergleichen. Haltet den Platz hier.
21. Okay. And Brahma, you want to read verse 20?
Lukas 21, Vers 20.
And also read verse. Let's just read 21 also.
20 und 21.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Yes. Okay, so these armies surrounding here Jerusalem
Also diese Armeen, die Jerusalem umlagern,
is a sign to do what?
es ist eine Zeichen, um was zu tun,
To flee, right?
um zu flüchten.
Okay, so let us just remind ourselves, let's go to this quote here that I just posted.
So, zur Erinnerung, lasst uns in den Livestream, da gibt es ein Zitat, der soeben gepostet worden ist,
Okay, because Jerusalem is surrounded.
weil Jerusalem umlagert ist.
Let us read this quote. Mars, you want to read this for us, please?
And the whole quote?
Mhm.
Okay. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Jesus answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Men will continue to erect expensive buildings costing millions of money. Special attention will be called to their architectural beauty and the firmness and solidity with which they are constructed. But the Lord has instructed me that despite the unusual firmness and expensive display, these buildings will share the fate of the temple in Jerusalem. That magnificent structure fell. Angels of God were sent to do the work of destruction, so that one stone was not left that was not thrown down.
Yes. Okay, so what is she comparing the destruction of Jerusalem with?
So, womit vergleicht sie die Zerstörung Jerusalems?
Destruction of cities, plural.
Yes, but here in this, she speaks about the great buildings, right?
Also hier in diesem Zitat spricht sie über diese großen Gebäude.
And it's in 21 MR 66.6.
Und das ist 21 MR 66.6.
Okay, but when you go to paragraph 8,
Aber wenn wir zum Absatz 8 gehen,
then she says, I'm bidden to declare the message that cities full of transgression and sinful in the extreme will be destroyed by earthquakes, by fire, by flood. All the world will be warned that there's a God who will display his authority as God. His unseen agencies will cause destruction, devastation, and death, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we can see basically the destruction of Jerusalem. Therefore, illustrates the destruction of the cities here at the end of the world.
so wir können hier durchsehen, dass die Zerstörung Jerusalems schattet die Zerstörung von Städten hier am Ende der Welt vor uns.
So when Cestius came and surrounded Jerusalem, what does it illustrate in our
So,
time?
als Cestius kam und Jerusalem umlagerte, was stellt es in unserer Zeit dar?
It's the cities.
Yes, the cities, right?
Also die Städte.
And
The cities are compassed, according to verse 20.
Also gemäß Vers 20, die Städte werden umzingelt.
It says here, and when you shall see the cities compassed with armies, right?
Vers 20 sagt, wenn ihr die Städte seht, dass sie mit Armeen umzingelt sind.
So, and this is already a little foretaste what we saw with the coronavirus.
Und
Right?
das ist ein kleiner Vorgeschmack, das, was wir mit diesem Coronavirus gesehen haben.
Okay, so these cities will be locked down more and more often in the future.
Also
Right?
diese Städte werden niedergeriegelt öfters in der Zukunft.
just make a point.
Yes.
In Galatians chapter 4,
In Galater Kapitel 4,
it's important that we understand this point.
das ist wichtig, dass wir diesen Punkt verstehen.
Um,
Galater Kapitel 4,
verse 26.
Vers 26.
It says, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. So that we have to understand there's two Jerusalems,
Also wir müssen verstehen, es gibt zwei Jerusalem.
because Jerusalem, the true Jerusalem, the one that's above there, represents the church triumphant, the obedient.
Also diese wahre Jerusalem, die oben ist, stellt die siegreiche Gemeinde dar, also die Gehorsamen.
But the other Jerusalem represents these cities that's going to be punished, and all those that reject the warnings to get out represent the disobedient Jews who are going to perish in
Aber
the
die andere Jerusalem, da stellt die Städte dar und all diejenigen, die nicht aus den Städten herauskommen, stellen diese ungehorsame Juden dar, die in Jerusalem umgekommen
I mean,
sind.
that's important because it's been stated at the moment that Jerusalem represents the glorious land.
Und das ist wichtig, weil gerade jetzt in unseren Kreisen ist gehört worden, dass Jerusalem der Holy Land, did you say?
Glorious.
Also der herrliche Land darstellt.
Okay.
Why did you say no crisis? I never said that.
Sorry?
You said no crisis?
I didn't say in our crisis, I said in our cries and our circles.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yes, because in one Jerusalem you must remain, and in the other Jerusalem you must flee.
Weil in die eine Jerusalem, wir müssen wohl weilen und der andere Jerusalem müssen wir entfliehen.
Okay. Anyways, but that's not the direction I want to go to at the moment.
Also das ist wichtig, aber das ist nicht der Richtung, in den ich jetzt gehen möchte.
Because when we come back to Luke 21,
Wenn wir zurück zu Lukas 21 kommen,
so basically when Cestius comes, you have cities being locked down.
also wenn Cestius kommt, dann Städte werden niedergeriegelt werden.
And as long as Cestius was there, nobody could flee. Right?
Und solange das Cestius da war, war es unmöglich zu entkommen.
And it says here, right, let's just remind ourselves again. Okay, it's not here in Luke. No, it is. I mean, okay, it's not so much in Luke 21, but let's go to back to Matthew 24.
Also gehen wir zurück zu Matthäus 24.
Remind ourselves what we read. And we saw in verse 7.
In Vers 7 haben wir gelesen.
Let's just read verse 6 and 7 again.
Wir lesen die Verse 6 und 7.
It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. Now, why does he say, see that ye be not troubled?
So, warum sagt er, sorgt dafür, dass ihr nicht besorgt seid? Warum sagt er das?
Yes, why does he say this?
Because there's going to be trouble.
Yes, because the time of trouble begins here, right?
Weil eine Zeit des Trübsals fängt hier an.
Okay, so for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So, what does also begin here?
So, was muss hier auch anfangen?
Beginning of sorrows.
Yes, the sorrows,
Catastrophe.
and it says here, verse 7, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. Right?
So, Vers 7. Es sagt Nation gegen Nation und Königreich gegen Königreich und es wird Hungersnöte und Seuchen und Erdbeben in verschiedene Orte geben.
So you have this pestilence right here.
So hier haben wir diese Pestilenz, also diese Seuche hier.
Okay, and so basically, as long as Cestius locks down the cities, you cannot escape.
Und wie gesagt, solange das Cestius da und diese Städte niederriegelt, dann kannst du nicht entkommen.
Okay, but we understand, right, that here at the beginning of the time of peace, what happens?
Aber wir verstehen, dass gerade hier zum Anfang des Zeit des Friedens was geschieht.
Let us just go to Psalms 48.
Wir gehen zum Psalm 48.
What's your question again, Noah?
It begins at the beginning of the time of peace with
Okay.
respect to Cestius. So Psalms 48.
Psalm 48.
Let us begin in verse 1.
Und wir fangen in Vers 1 an.
Says, great is the Lord and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. God is known in her palaces for refuge. For lo, the kings were assembled, they passed by together. So they pass now by together at Jerusalem, right?
So, die gehen vorbei an Jerusalem.
Okay, because it's the city of the great king.
Das ist der Stadt der große König.
It's where Mount Zion is located.
Das
Right?
ist, wo Berg Zion zu finden ist.
So they surround Jerusalem here in this psalm.
So, in diesem Psalm, die umkreisen Jerusalem.
So they are like the Cestius, right?
Die sind wie Cestius.
Okay. So verse 4, for lo, the kings were assembled, they passed by together, they saw it,
Vers 5.
and so they marveled, they were troubled and hasted away. So what do the kings do?
So, was tun sie in Vers 5?
They haste away.
Die
Right?
eilen weg.
Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as a woman in travail. Thou breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. Okay. So, why do they haste away?
So, warum eilen sie weg?
Because the east wind.
Yeah, because of the east wind.
Wegen das Ostwind.
Okay. So, everybody can follow?
Kann jeder folgen?
Yes?
Amen?
No response is also a response. Okay. Okay. So, when we understand, this is here when the east wind hits,
So,
right?
wir verstehen, dass es hier ist, wo das Ostwind zuschlägt.
So, okay. here Cestius hastes away.
Und hier auch Cestius eilt oder flüchtet weg.
So, and when he hastes away, yeah, what are we to do?
Und wenn Cestius weggeht, was sollten wir tun?
Flee immediately to the refuge.
Yes, we are to immediately flee. Right?
Wir sollten sofort zur Zufluchtsstadt flüchten.
And it says that this Mount Zion is the refuge. In verse 3.
Vers 3 sagt es, dass das Berg Zion ist der Zuflucht.
So you to enter into the city,
So, du sollst in die Stadt einkehren,
the true city.
der wahre Jerusalem.
Yes. Okay, so let me just post this quote here again, just to remind ourselves.
So, ein weiteres Zitat kommt zur Erinnerung.
Speaks about the destruction of Jerusalem.
In diesem Zitat spricht über die Zerstörung Jerusalems.
Okay. So it says here, not one Christian perished in the destruction of Jerusalem. Christ had given his disciples warning, and all who believed his words watched for the promised sign. So, because they watched for the promised sign and they recognized the promised sign, none of the Christians perished. Right?
Also weil sie Ausschau hielten und diese versprochene Zeichen erkannt haben, keine von den Christen sind in Jerusalem umgekommen.
Okay. Just jump down a little bit
Wir kommen ein bisschen runter in dem Zitat,
after Luke 21.
nachdem wo Lukas 21 zitiert
It
ist.
says, after the Romans under Cestius had surrounded the city, they unexpectedly abandoned the siege when everything seemed favorable for an immediate attack. The besieged, despairing of successful resistance, were on the point of surrender when the Roman general withdrew his forces without the least apparent reason. But God's merciful providence was directing events for the good of his own people. So Cestius back then, why did he depart?
So Cestius damals, warum ist er entzogen?
No, it's un-
No apparent reason, right?
Also es sagt hier kein ersichtlicher Grund.
Okay, but line upon line, why will Cestius depart in our time?
Aber Linie auf Linie, warum wird Cestius sich entziehen in unserer Zeit?
Yes, because of the east wind, right?
Wegen des Ostwind.
And also in Jeremiah 37,
Und auch in Jeremia 37,
who comes against Nebuchadnezzar?
wer kommt gegen Nebukadnezar?
Yes, Egypt, right?
Egypt.
King of the south.
Also der König des Südens.
Okay, so that's the two things we understand will rise up here.
So das sind die zwei Dinge, die wir verstehen, werden hier aufkommen.
Okay, so it's the king of the south and Islam.
So König des Südens und Islam.
And the interesting point is, I don't know if you have heard of it.
Und ein interessantes Punkt, da weiß ich nicht, ob ihr schon bereits davon gehört habt.
I don't know, yesterday or so, or just recently,
So gestern oder neulich,
two guys of ISIS got caught by the FBI.
so zwei von den Hauptmännern von den
That's not exact. Two guys of the ISIS got caught by the FBI.
so zwei Jupps von ISIS sind von den FBI
Yes,
gefangen genommen worden
in America,
in den USA.
and they planned an attack against the New York Stock Exchange.
Also sie haben einen Angriff gegen der wie heißt das nochmal?
New Yorker Börse.
Ach, der Börse, ja, also den New Yorker Börse.
Yeah. And also against the Trump Tower.
Und auch gegen den Trump-Turm
Golden
in New
Okay.
York.
So, and they also thought of attacking CIA buildings and
Und die haben auch
Military
andere Gedanken,
institutions.
den Hauptgebäuden von den CIA und andere militärische Einrichtungen
the White House
anzugreifen
and all
auch.
these things. Okay.
Also den White House auch noch.
Yeah. So, again, military and economic. Okay.
Und wieder, das ist Wirtschaft und militärische Einrichtungen.
So, but they got caught
Aber die wurden gefangen genommen.
But you can see
Die sind erwischt.
that they already have these plans, okay?
Also das zeigt uns nur, dass sie bereits solche Pläne schmieden.
Okay. And alright, anyways.
Aber nichtsdestotrotz,
Yeah, so here you have the South, which is Antifa and Black Lives Matters and all these anarchists,
also hier
communist anarchists.
hast du den Süden, diese Black Lives Matters und Antifa, diesen Kommunisten.
And then you have radical Islam like ISIS and all these other terror
Und dann gibt
organizations.
es das radikale Islam wie ISIS und diese andere Organisationen, die unter diesen...
And they will cause Cestius to haste away.
Und die werden dafür verursachen, dass Cestius wegflüchtet.
Okay, and this is now our sign, obviously.
Und das ist unsere Zeichen.
Okay, and let us just jump down to the last sentence.
Und wir kommen zum ganz unten in den Zitat, der letzte Satz.
It says, without delay they fled to a place of safety, the city of Pella, in the land of Perea beyond Jordan. Okay, so when this takes place, what must you do?
So, wenn das hier stattfindet, was musst du tun?
You must flee without delay,
Du
right?
musst flüchten, ohne zu zögern,
Okay, into the refuge city.
zur Zufluchtsstadt.
Okay, and is it life or death?
Und ist das Leben oder Tod?
Yes. Okay.
Richtig, ja.
So we need to understand this better than we do now.
So, wir müssen das hier besser verstehen, als dass wir es jetzt tun.
That's
Because-
why
Because if we don't understand what we have to do there in a long period of time,
Denn wenn wir nicht verstehen, was wir da tun sollen in eine lange Zeitspanne, während eine lange Zeitspanne,
and when we have so much time left, right?
und wir haben so viele Zeit übrig,
And we have so many opportunities there to make false decisions, right?
und wir haben ja so viele Gelegenheiten dort, falsche Entscheidungen so locker von uns zu haben.
Because every mistake can still be rectified at this moment, right?
Weil jeder Fehler, den wir machen, kann immer noch korrigiert werden zu diesem Zeitpunkt.
Yes, is this true?
Ist das
I
so?
don't think so.
No, right?
Nein.
So we have no time here,
Also
okay?
wir haben keine Zeit hier.
And we have no opportunity to make any mistake in here.
Und hier gibt es keine Gelegenheit für Fehler.
Okay, so here we must know what we need to do and we need to do it quickly.
So
Okay?
hier müssen wir wissen, was zu tun ist, und wir müssen es zügig machen.
The point,
Otherwise we will lose our souls. Okay?
Ansonsten werden wir unsere Seelen verlieren.
point is, you can't get in the refuge city without the golden ticket.
Yes.
Du kannst nicht in der Zufluchtsstadt kommen ohne der goldene Karte.
That's why I said, flee immediately. You can only flee if you've got on the wedding gown.
Also du kannst nur flüchten, wenn du bereits den Hochzeitsgewand anhast.
Yes. Okay, and this point I want to now highlight a little bit more. Okay.
Und gerade diesen Punkt möchte ich ein bisschen eingehen.
Okay, because the wedding garment. What is the wedding garment?
Denn
Also.
das Hochzeitsgewand, was ist es?
Yes, it's the seal,
Es
right?
ist das Siegel.
So, in the seal, what was the seal when they left Egypt?
Und das Siegel, was war das Siegel, als sie Ägypten verließen?
Yes, the blood on the doorpost.
Das war
Right?
das Blut auf dem Türpfosten.
Because when you have the seal of God on your forehead, let's just go to Ezekiel 9.
Lasst uns zum Hesekiel Kapitel 9 gehen.
So there's a sign that you can see.
Hesekiel 9.
In Ezekiel 9, you have the man with the writer's inkhorn,
Also es gibt diesen Mann mit dem Schreibwerkzeug
and you have the 5 men with the slaughter weapons.
und die
Right?
5 Männer mit den Schlachterwaffen.
Okay, and let us start in verse 4.
Lasst uns in Vers 4 anfangen.
It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite, Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. And then, then they began at this ancient man, which were before the house. So when you have the seal of God, what can't the 5 men do here?
Also wenn du den Siegel Gottes hast, was können diesen 5 Männern nicht tun?
They cannot touch you.
Die
Right?
können dich nicht anhaben.
When you had the blood on the doorpost, what couldn't the destroying angel do?
Also wenn du das Blut auf den Türpfosten hattest, was konnte der zerstörende Engel nicht tun?
Yes, couldn't enter in.
Er
Right?
konnte nicht hineinkommen.
So, and Sister White says, here's a quote where she says, these 5 men is the destroying angel.
Und Ellen White hat ein Zitat, wo sie sagt klar heraus, dass diese 5 Männer sind der zerstörende Engel.
So, therefore, you must have the seal here.
Deswegen, du musst den Siegel hier haben.
And we saw already, like, you become this church in heaven here, right? You
Wir
have
haben
the
bereits gesehen, du wirst diese Gemeinde im Himmel hier sein.
seal. And even though in our line now it's just a type,
Selbst wo in unserer Linie hier ist es nur ein Typus,
but it's the same principle.
aber es ist genau denselben Prinzipien.
Okay, so therefore here,
So, deswegen hier gerade,
you need the blood on the doorpost.
du brauchst das Blut auf dem Türpfosten.
Okay, because when we go now to Exodus chapter 12,
So, denn wenn wir jetzt zum 2. Buch Mose 12 gehen,
it says here, and it came to pass,
Vers 29.
yes, 29, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. So when did the Lord bring the judgment?
So, wann hat der Herr das Gericht über Ägypten gebracht?
Midnight,
Am
right?
Mitternacht.
So, yeah, at midnight this judgment will come.
So,
Okay.
am Mitternacht wird dieses Gericht kommen.
But it's also here fulfilled partially, right?
Aber es ist auch zum Teil hier erfüllt.
First
Oh.
part of the
Yes, the first part of the prediction.
Das erste Teil der Vorhersage.
So this is our sign. Okay, when the prediction, first part of the prediction comes true, this is our sign to flee.
Das
Right?
ist unsere Zeichen, wenn der erste Teil unserer Vorhersage zutrifft. Das ist unsere Zeichen zu flüchten.
Okay, and how could the Hebrews have the blood on the doorpost here?
Und wie konnten die Hebräer das Blut auf den Türpfosten haben? They had to bring a perfect sacrifice.
Yes, they had to slay the lamb, right?
Also die mussten ein Lamm schlachten.
flesh and drink it.
Amen.
Die
Okay.
mussten das Fleisch essen und das Blut trinken.
And they had to eat the Passover.
Die mussten das Passahlamm
And
essen.
what was the Passover replaced with?
Und womit würde das Passahlamm ersetzt?
Foot washing and then the breaking bread and the drinking
Yes.
of the wine.
Also
Ja.
das Fußwaschung und dann das Brotbrechen und das Weintrinken.
So we know this is this foot washing here,
Wir
right?
verstehen, dass das hier der Fußwaschung ist.
And this is here this supper, right?
Und das hier ist der Abendmahl.
So that's basically the Passover
Two parts.
meal,
Und
right?
das ist im Grunde der Passamahl, also
Ja.
die 2 Teile dessen.
So, and at the end, you then, when you partake in it, you have the blood on the doorpost. in a
Also
sense,
wenn du
okay?
daran teilnimmst, am Ende hast du das Blut am Türpfosten.
Okay, because let's now look at this a little bit.
So, lasst uns das etwa anschauen.
Let's go to verses 5.
So, wir gehen jetzt zum Vers 5.
In Ezekiel,
No, in Exodus 12.
2. Buch Mose 12.
Excuse me, verse 3 first.
You want to make a point with that?
Oh no, you're going to verse 5 because you're referring to that.
Okay, let's
Okay.
just begin in verse 3.
Also wir fangen im Vers 3 an.
Speak you unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. every man according to his eating shall they make you account for the man. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper doorpost of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And that they shall eat the flesh in that night roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord Passover. Alright, so
Bis
when,
Vers 11.
when they ate it, according to verse 11,
Also wenn sie es gegessen haben, gemäß Vers 11,
in which condition were they?
in welchem Zustand
And
waren sie?
now, don't, please, ladies, don't distract you. Okay, that's not important. Okay, so in which condition did they eat it?
So in welchem Zustand haben sie das
Ready
gegessen?
to go.
Yes, they were ready to go.
Also sie waren
Okay.
bereit zu gehen.
So let us read this quote here.
So lasst uns diesen Zitat hier lesen.
Post it now. So they were with their loins girded, their shoes on their feet, and the staff in their hand. Right?
Also die hatten die Lenden, wie sagt man das,
Umgürtet.
umgürtet, Schuhe auf den Füßen und den Stab im Hand.
And now let's read what Sister White has to say about this.
So lasst uns lesen, was Ellen White dazu sagt.
It says, with a loins girt, with sandaled feet, and staff in hand, the people of Israel had stood, hushed, awed, yet expectant, awaiting the royal mandate that should bid them go forth. And the royal mandate, when was it given?
Also diese königliche Gesetz oder Erlass, wann war es gegeben?
At midnight, right?
Mitternacht.
So when the angel of death came and the judgment came, then they were let loose, right?
Als der Engel des Todes kam und dieses Gericht kam, es war dann am Mitternacht, wo sie losgelassen wurden.
So right here, yeah, you can go.
So,
Okay.
gerade hier kannst du gehen.
Because Cestius flees away and the king of Egypt says, go out in haste.
Weil Cestius flüchtet weg und der König von Ägypten sagt, geht jetzt eilig.
Okay, but before this, you must eat the Passover.
Aber davor musst du diesen Passalamm essen.
You have to eat the flesh and drink the blood.
Du musst das Fleisch essen, das Blut trinken.
And it says here,
Es sagt hier,
in what condition do you need to be? You have your loins girt, your feet sandaled, and you need to have your staff in your hand.
in welchem
Okay.
Zustand. Es sagt hier mit den Lenden umgürtet, den Sandalen an den Füßen und den Stab im Hand.
And you must be here in this time where we're in at the moment, you must be expectant of this event here.
Und in diese Zeit, in der wir uns hier befinden, wir müssen in einer Haltung der Erwartung auf diesen Punkt hin sein.
You must be ready to leave in a moment's notice.
Ihr müsst bereit sein, zu jedem Moment zu flüchten.
Okay, because it says here,
Denn es sagt weiter,
let us just begin at the beginning again.
wir fangen am Anfang an wieder.
With their loins girt, with sandaled feet, and staff in hand, the people of Israel had stood, hushed, awed, yet expectant, awaiting the royal mandate that should bid them go forth. Before the morning broke, they were on their way. During the plagues, as the manifestation of God's power had kindled faith in the hearts of the bondmen, and had struck terror to the oppressors, the Israelites had gradually assembled themselves in Goshen. And notwithstanding the suddenness of their flight, So how was their flight?
So wie war deren Flucht?
Suddenly, right?
Also plötzlich.
Suddenness of their flight. Some provision had already been made for the necessary organization and control of the moving multitudes, they being divided into companies under appointed leaders. So before their flight, what had taken place?
So noch vor deren Flucht, was ist stattgefunden worden?
Yeah, some form of organization.
So eine Art von Organisation.
It says some provision had already been made beforehand.
Einige Vorsorge ist schon eingekehrt worden davor.
So we need to understand exactly what we need to do at the moment to prepare for this event. Here.
So wir müssen verstehen genau, was wir in dieser Zeit tun müssen in Vorbereitung auf dieses Ereignis.
And especially when we understand we have to flee from the cities,
Und insbesondere, wenn wir verstehen müssen, dass wir von die Städte flüchten
and
müssen.
those that are still in the cities, they must understand that they need to do all the necessary preparation that they can flee in a moment's notice.
So diejenigen, die sich noch in den Städten befinden, die müssen wohl verstehen, was die nötigen Vorbereitungen sind, so dass sie zu jedem Moment flüchten können.
Okay, so you must be ready to leave here immediately.
Du musst bereit sein, hier zu flüchten, sofort.
Yeah?
Just a small point.
Also ein kleines Hinzufügung.
Just the way it says that the Passover was replaced by the Lord's Supper, right?
So Ellen White sagt, dass das Passa durch den Abendmahl ersetzt worden ist.
And she says the foot washing precedes the Lord's Supper.
Und sie sagt, dass der Fußwaschung geht den Abendmahl voraus.
So then the Passover would be the supper and not the foot washing.
So das Passa wäre denn hier das Abendmahl und nicht das Fußwaschung.
Because the supper is also, the Passover is also where the lamb was slain and went to the cross, which would be then the symbolic.
Denn der Passa ist auch, wo der Lamm geschlachtet worden ist und ging zum Kreuz, und das ist hier markiert, der Kreuzesaufwand.
This might be valid, I must.
Well, you know, when
Look
you,
at this, but,
okay,
foot washing
I
is-
get what you're saying, but on Christ told them, go make ready the Passover, and it was evening time when they all gathered there, so the Passover was already beginning, right? The foot washing was
No,
half
just that Sister White specifically says that the foot washing precedes the
Yes.
supper, so it's distinct somehow.
but the whole thing's the one event.
Yes.
No, the point I'm just making is that when they eat this, the Passover lamb of bitter herbs, that it's speaking about the second box.
Also der Punkt, den ich mache, ist, wenn die den Passalamm essen mit diesen bitteren Kräutern, das markiert diese Zeit.
Yeah, I mean, I have to consider this, but
Also ich möchte das,
It's not so much denying the.
yes, it doesn't change anything.
also es verändert an sich nicht.
So it's still that you have to eat the Passover before in order to be ready here, right?
Aber es ist immer noch, dass du den Passa zuvor essen musst, um hier bereit zu sein.
Okay, so okay. Anyways, but the point is that you need to make the necessary preparation in order to be ready to leave instantaneously.
Aber der Punkt ist, du musst den nötigen Vorkehrungen eintreffen, so dass du bereit bist, zu jeder Sekunde zu flüchten.
Because like the Jews, when they left Jerusalem under Cestius, they fled instantaneously. right?
So genauso wie die Juden in Jerusalem, als Cestius da umlagerte, als er wegflüchtete, sie haben sofort den Stadt verlassen.
Okay, and obviously we need also to pray if the Lord also wants us to do something while we are here, right?
Und wir müssen auch beten und bitten den Herrn, uns zu zeigen, ob irgendetwas, das wir tun müssen, wenn wir hier sind.
Well, we are already out of the cities,
Ich meine,
okay,
wir sind ja bereits aus den Städten,
but maybe we still have to do some kind of fleeing that we don't understand yet. okay?
aber vielleicht müssen wir irgendeine Art Flüchten tun, die wir jetzt noch nicht verstehen.
We definitely need to flee to Christ. That's
So, auf jeden Fall verstehen wir, dass wir zu Christus flüchten müssen.
okay. So basically that's the main point I wanted to share this evening.
So, das
okay?
ist der Hauptpunkt, den ich heute Abend mitteilen wollte.
And that in this time here,
Dass
when
in diese
we
Zeit hier,
have this Passover,
als wir diesen Passa haben,
and We can all agree that Passover is definitely eaten here, but maybe it already incorporates this time. Okay.
Wir können alle zustimmen, dass der Passa auf jeden Fall involviert das, was hier stattfindet, also das Essen des Lammes, aber vielleicht auch involviert ist auch diesen Tag.
So, and this is the time of preparation.
Und das ist der Zeit der Vorbereitung.
The
You're pointing to the top of Pharaoh or what?
preparation.
Diese Vorbereitung.
So basically, yeah. So it's now needs to be defined whether we are already in the Passover or.
The lamb was to be slain when even came.
Yes.
Also der Lamm sollte geschlachtet werden, als Abend anbrachte.
So the lamb was already slain before they went up to the upper room.
So,
Or when they all gathered there at evening time, the lamb was already slain.
also der Lamm war bereits geschlachtet, als sie den Obergemach kam.
Yes. So your argument is therefore it would already incorporate this.
Well, you can't. The foot washing, right? What washes you is the blood of Christ, right? He has to already be slain.
Fußwaschung, das ist sinnbildlich, dass du durch das Blut Christi gewaschen bist. Also das würde denn vorausgehen, dass bereits geschlachtet ist.
We know that the Sunday law crisis marks the beginning of the cross. When you get to the middle way mark, it's just when it goes to midnight darkness. It's the second part of the cross.
Also wir wissen, dass am Sonntagsgesetz, das fängt das Kreuzeserfahrung an, diese mittlere Wegmarke, das ist nur, wenn es zu mitternächtliche Dunkelheit geht.
It's like your second part of your test. So
Das ist
you
wie der
have to
zweite
have the
Teil
blood
deines Kreuzes.
already there in order to cover you and wash you clean to get to the second part.
Also du musst bereits das Blut an der Tür haben, damit du zu diesem zweiten Teil kommst. Well, this is the door, right?
I mean, it's already here where you eat his flesh and drink his blood.
Das
In
ist
the
auch
sense that you eat the manna, right?
bereits hier, wo du sein Fleisch isst und sein Blut trinkst, in dem Sinne, dass du den Manna isst.
John chapter 6.
Johannes 6.
The former rain, you've got to gather it, right?
Also das Frühregen, das muss man sammeln.
Yes. Okay, I mean, I understand why Fyodor wants to parallel it with here, but I also understand this argument, so we have to study this out. Okay, so nonetheless, we all need to be ready when this comes.
Also auf jeden Fall müssen wir bereit sein, wenn das hier eintrifft.
And it's our personal responsibility to be ready, to have our sandals on our feet, our loins girded, and the staff in our hand.
Und das ist unsere persönliche Verantwortung, dass wir unsere Sandalen auf den Füßen, dass wir unsere Lenden umgürtet haben und unsere Stab in unseren Händen haben.
And sometimes I think, do we really believe this? Okay.
Manchmal frage ich mich, ob wir das wirklich glauben.
Okay. So, and if you do really believe this, you will ask to really understand what the Lord now wants you to do.
Und wenn wir das wirklich glauben, dann werden wir jetzt bitten, was der Herr möchte, dass wir tun.
Okay. So this we can now take as a thought for our prayer round.
Und das können wir als eine Gedanke in unsere Gebetsrunde jetzt mit hineinnehmen.
And that God might help us to be ready.
Dass Gott uns hilft, bereit zu sein.
Okay.